He drove a beat-up truck with a raccoon tail on the antenna. Seeing him always meant the start of the summer for me. Lately, though, there were more men wandering around than usual. There was talk that we had made some online list for the best place to clam and fish. People were angry at the intrusion. We were far away enough from New York to feel like we were in a different world, but close enough to have successful commuter husbands. In the evenings, I'd see a row of pursed-lipped wives idling their cars in the parking lot of the commuter rail station, watching their bar-car-riding husbands stagger off the train. The Connecticut shoreline was full of small towns like ours, each with an old congregational church and a large town green at its center. Homes with plaques stating their revolutionary age stood next to tasteful shops and cafes along Main Street. And along the water were hidden coves and snug blocks of beachside cottages. People from New York would grab them as soon as they came on the market, trying to turn this swath of Connecticut into the Vineyard or the Cape. I passed the anchor of our little neighborhood, the Little Neck Cove Yacht and Country Club, just as the grinding daily cacophony of lawnmowers began. The decorations from last night's Gatsby party were still up. Jeffrey and I had always gone when we first got together, looking silly in a seersucker suit and a flapper dress, but it was fun. We hadn't gone in years. That's what happens. Tiny adjustments and contractions to your needs because things are fun and you believe they will never stop being that way. We used to go to all the themed parties and find ourselves making out on the beach, my dress all sparkly in the moonlight. We didn't care who saw us then. We had always been the last couple dancing, full of life, our hands all over each other, sweat beading everywhere. Now I had to staunch the flow of happy memories to survive our current state of indifference toward each other. If I brushed against him, he seemed startled. I had taken the laughing and groping and desire that seemed endless for granted. After I watched the sun rise this particular morning, I didn't feel like sneaking back into my bed, pretending I was waking up alongside Jeffrey. He didn't appreciate my attempts at normalcy, and never asked where I had been when he woke up to an empty bed anyway. It was as if he was somehow grateful for my absence. I decided to keep walking to the neighborhood's nature trail. Built into the saltwater marshland of tall cattails, the trail traversed inlets and thick labyrinthine channels connected to the next hidden cove of homes. It was Connecticut postcard perfect here, full of painted turtles and tiny crabs and unexpected sprays of beach roses. Whenever the tall grass was flattened back after a storm, I could see the teenager foraged trails into the hidden parts of the marsh. I'd follow the trails until they led me into a small grove with beer cans and burnt-out wood piles. I'd collect the cans and clean off the wax from tree stumps, trying to erase the damage created by the late-night parties. I wanted to find them in mid-swing during one of my walks, see who was lusting after whom, feel what it was like to be young again, nervous and hopeful. But I only ever found the remnants of their drunken joy. I was enjoying the bright sparkle of the water, training my binoculars on the hatching bird's nest beds staked high above the seagrass. The hiss of locusts and summer beetles filled the air, a clucking that I missed all winter long. As the sun rose, the humidity felt like a bath, and I was already soaked through my shirt. I had a thin, small bird book that Jeffrey had given me in my back pocket. Now was the time when the plover birthings were in full swing, and it was exhilarating. Their call notes, plaintive bell-like whistles, filled the air around me. It was a sound unlike any other, and I preferred it to humans talking. The whistles flitting around me made me feel calm, yet alive. These birds were unencumbered. They just lived and flew, and most of all, they didn't betray. I tried to follow their calls and considered going off the bridge to walk along the shore, a no-no in the bird sanctuary rulebook. I wanted a closer look, so I looped one leg over the rope of the boardwalk and looked